You just caught your ADHD child lying again. Now what? In this video, we're talking all about why ADHD kids lie and what to do about it. Does this sound familiar? You ask your child about something point blank and they look you right in the eye and lie. Then later, you find that missing piece in their backpack or the homework they claim to finish stuffed at the bottom of a drawer. Your heart just sinks because you know your child lied to you again. And if you're raising a child or a teen with ADHD, chances are you've been here more than once. Can you relate, guys? Give me a yes in the comments if you can. And it's not just the lie that really stings, it's that feeling of betrayal, the confusion, the fear about what it could mean for their future. You just want to trust them, but every lie chips away at that trust. And you're probably asking, why would they lie to me? What am I doing wrong? How do I get them to just tell the truth? Here's the thing most parents don't realize. When kids with ADHD lie, it's not usually about being sneaky or manipulative. It's about impulsivity, or maybe even shame. And it's about the way their brain handles time, memory, and stress. What looks like lying is often a child's nervous system trying to avoid a meltdown, to protect their pride, or deal with a moment they just don't know how to handle. Now, that does not mean lying is okay, but it does change how we respond and how we help. So in this video, we're going to talk about why lying is so common in kids with ADHD, what your child is and isn't trying to communicate, and how to respond without shaming or power struggles, and how to actually shift the behavior with compassion, not control. I'm Dana Kay, a board-certified health and nutrition practitioner, but I'm also a mama of a child with ADHD, so I know what it's like to battle tricky behaviors with ADHD kids. Behaviors like lying. My son is now a teenager and he's thriving, but it wasn't always this way. Before we learned how to support his nervous system naturally, lying used to be a huge challenge for us, and I've worked with over 1,500 other families of kids with ADHD who have also battled this similar issue. So I understand how hard it can be. I also know there is hope and things can improve. So let's dive into today's topic, lying and ADHD. So let's start with what's really going on underneath the lie. If your ADHD child lies, it's easy to assume the worst, isn't it? That they're being disrespectful, disobedient, or even manipulative. But here's the truth. Most of the time, they're not lying at you. They're lying for themselves, to protect themselves from embarrassment or from overwhelm, from getting in trouble or disappointing you. So let's dig deeper into why kids with ADHD often lie. First, there is executive dysfunction. Executive function is what helps us plan ahead, remember things, and think through consequences. And kids with ADHD often struggle in all of these areas. They might genuinely forget what they are supposed to do and then panic about it when they're asked about it. They might not understand that lying now actually creates bigger consequences later because their brain is wired for right now, not long-term thinking. So that lie often feels to them like a quick escape route from the pressure or shame they're feeling. Now, on top of executive function challenges, there's also impulsivity. ADHD brains are wired to act first and think later. So when you ask, did you clean your room? Yes, just pops out. They don't even think about it. It's a reflex, not intention. Now, add in emotional dysregulation, and kids with ADHD often feel things are super big. So if telling the truth means getting in trouble or feeling ashamed or facing disappointment, they might lie just to avoid that crash. Again, it's not calculated, just protective. And finally, kids with ADHD struggle with time blindness. You've probably heard this one before. I was going to do my homework. I just didn't realize it was already 4 o'clock. For many ADHD kids, time is either now or not now. They might mean to do it, but genuinely lost track of time and then lie to cover the gap. So, is this a character issue? No. Lying in ADHD is a symptom, not a moral failure. It's a reflex. Your child isn't trying to create conflict, they're trying to avoid it. And the good news is that with the right tools, that pattern can change. I hope this is making sense so far. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions so far. Okay, so now let's talk about what lying can look like at different ages. So if your child is between the ages of 5 and 8, lying often shows up as magical thinking or denial. They'll say, I didn't do it, even when the evidence is right there in front of them. They're not trying to manipulate, they're just not developmentally ready to handle accountability in that moment. And their ADHD makes that even harder. Between the ages of 9 and 12, lying tends to shift. You'll hear more, I forgot, I didn't know it was due, I was about to do it. At this age, it's more about dodging responsibility or avoiding shame. They're not trying to get away with something, but instead they're trying to avoid feeling like they failed again. And by the teen years, 13 years and up, lying gets a little bit more intentional. They're often trying to avoid deeper consequences, to protect their social standing or dodge what feels like judgment. They'll say, I finished the homework, or I didn't see your message, or I wasn't on my phone. I've heard that one before. And under all of it, still the same root: shame, fear of failure, and nervous system overload. Which really brings us to this. No matter the age of your child, lying really has less to do with them trying to manipulate and more to do what's going on underneath inside their body. You may have noticed that consequences like grounding or lectures or punishment don't really work at stopping lying. That's because for kids with ADHD, lying isn't a strategy, but is instead more of a survival response. Their brain is dysregulated, they're panicking, they're just trying to get out of the moment. And when we punish the lie with shame or anger, we're actually reinforcing the exact pattern we're trying to stop. The brain learns, if I tell the truth, I get in trouble. So next time, just lie faster. So what should you do instead? Does that mean you just ignore the lying? Definitely not. Let's talk about what to say and what not to say when your child lies. Don't say things like, why would you lie to me? You're being dishonest, that's unacceptable. You're grounded until you learn to tell the truth. Don't worry, I've said some of those things too. There is no shame there. Look, these comments shame your child and don't actually help them do better next time. Try instead to say things like, lying's not okay, but it doesn't make you a bad kid. I'm guessing you were overwhelmed. Let's just talk about what happened. Or I'm here to help you figure this out, not to punish you into perfection. You could also try to offer a redo by saying something like, do you want to try that one again? And this time, tell me the truth. This sets boundaries while also calming their nervous system, which is exactly what helps build trust and reduce future lying. You can also come back to the moment later when things are calm and easy. Say something like, hey, earlier today when you told me ... want to walk through that again together? Now, I want to hear from you guys. Okay, what have you said in the moment that has worked well for your family? Share it in the comments. I'd really love to know what's working for you as well. Now, you might be wondering, how do we prevent lying before it starts? And that's a really great question because if possible, we definitely want to do this. We all want to build a home where it feels safe to tell the truth. So how do we do this? First, we normalize mistakes. We praise honesty, especially when it's hard. And we use calm, clear consequences without shame. You can say things like, look, everyone messes up, it's how we learn. Or maybe something like, you're not in trouble for telling me the truth. Or I care more about how we move forward than what already happened. Catch them in the act of telling the truth and celebrate it. Say, "That took courage, thank you," or "I'm proud of you for being honest," or even "You told the truth even when it was hard," and that's a really big deal. You can also use role playing in low pressure moments. Pretend you're the teacher asking about missing homework, or practice telling them the truth about something broken. That way they rehearse honesty before it feels risky. And when lying does happen, don't panic. Instead of getting furious, get curious. Ask, what were you feeling when that happened? What made telling the truth hard? Or what can we try differently next time? Look, remember the goal is always progress, not perfection. Even when you do everything right, your child may still lie sometimes. That doesn't mean you're failing, and it just means they're still learning how to manage stress, emotions, and consequences, and that is totally okay. Of course, if the lying feels constant or starts affecting home or school life, it may be time to get extra help. You could work with a holistic ADHD health practitioner like yours truly. You can just send me a message or leave a comment here letting me know you want more information, and I'll definitely be in touch. Or you might find support from a parent coach or executive function coach or a trauma-informed therapist or a practitioner trained in nervous system support. But the key to remember is this: lying, more often than not, is not a moral issue or a character issue for kids with ADHD. It's not manipulation, because when we understand why kids lie, we can show more empathy and more understanding. And this is what can help us support them to develop newer, better patterns of behavior. With the right support, things can definitely change. Look, if this hits home for you, you're not alone. Lying is one of those behaviors that really rattles parents. But when we shift how we understand it, everything changes. If you're just discovering my work, take some time to explore the other videos here. You'll find step-by-step strategies to support ADHD naturally, not just for lying, but for focus, anxiety, meltdowns, sleep, gut issues, and so much more. And if you're ready for deeper support or wondering what's really going on in your child's body, leave a comment or send me a message. I read every single one. I'm Dana Kay, board certified health and nutrition practitioner, and I'm also a fellow ADHD mum, and I'm so glad you're here. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe, because your next breakthrough might be in the very next video. I'll see you soon, and I know you've got this.